Do you like using Sui Lalo at Town Hall 11? Well, today, my friends, we're going to be going over Sui Lalo here at Town Hall 11, and we're going to be teaching you guys tips and tricks in order to perfect one of the hardest Lalo attacks in the game. So, Sui Lalo is a very, very powerful attack, and I would say that it is going to be one of the more harder Lalo attacks that you can really try out in the game. Now, of course, Sui Lalo is probably one that you guys have probably heard of. Of course, it starts at Town Hall 9 and it works its way up. It's a very powerful attack. It works from Town Hall 9 to Town Hall 13. It's very powerful, but it's very hard to do as well, because it's not as easy as just sending in your heroes and doing all of that. On these harder base designs, it's really where you have to have that skill. It's not like a queen charge. Sui Lalo, yeah, you're just using a Sui hero, but you've also got to be very strategic about what you do. For instance, by taking a look at this base design here, what value can we get with a Sui? Of course, we can probably, go up here and maybe get an air defense, but you also want to consider that there is a dead zone around this eagle compartment here. So that's something that we want to make sure that we are keeping note of. Now, before we jump into any of that, what are our key objectives? Primarily, it's actually going to be either dealing with the enemy CC, unless it's a Lava Hound. Other than that, I would say don't use this attack if you are trying to deal with a damage CC, because then it's just really not going to work unless you're able to lure it out. Now, the other thing is, what you want to make sure is that you are getting some sort of value. So if you're getting like stuff like a wizard tower or an archer tower, that still counts as value. So with this, there isn't really a big key objective. Getting air defenses are still really good, but on top of this, what you can do is you can actually send in a Lava Hound and the Stone Slammer in order to take out a compartment maybe like this. You see that those the Multi-Inferno and the air defenses are a little bit deeper set into the base. You can just send in that. The Lava Hound will tank for the Stone Slammer. The Stone Slammer will pop. You'll use either a Rage or a haste, and then what you'll be able to do from there, get rid of that area, get rid of two air defenses and a Multi-Inferno for just a price of a Siege and one Lava Hound. Pretty good value, if I would have to say that. But then also, how can you deal with the enemy queen? Well, when you're trying to deal with the enemy queen, there are a couple things that you really want to make sure that you're doing. You're using your Skelly spells. This way, what you'll be able to do with your Skellies is be able to, for one, be able to kill that queen and not have her target any of your balloons. Now, one of the biggest things as well is going to be, how can you make sure that the queen doesn't jump over the wall? Primarily, this is going to be using a freeze spell. So something like this right here is going to completely wreck your Skelly spells. So make sure that what you're doing is, before you drop in your Skellies, allow your balloons to drop their bombs right on the bomb tower or the wizard tower, whatever's near it in terms of splash, and make sure that it's able to take it out. That way, what you'll be able to do is freeze up the queen and then the Skellies, and you'll be able to use that just fine through the rest of the base. So your Lalo will be just fine, the queen will be taken out, and you will be able to smooth sail through. The biggest thing here is getting value, and you'll see here is that he wants the queen, the attacker, wants the queen and the king to walk in this direction. Getting rid of these Teslas are huge, and there might even be a Tesla farm around this area. So this is a good area in order to use this area, or use the Sui hero from. That way we're still going to be able to get value. But another thing is, the reason that we're doing this is actually carving out a funnel for the Stone Slammer going into the base, like you'll see right here in just a second. Once he's done that, he's created a solid pathing for the Stone Slammer in order to get right up to the air defense and get right into the base. This is a very unique way, and you can even try this out by making sure that you can deal with the enemy CC this way. So this is definitely a very, very viable way of doing so. Once you've taken it out, you're going to be able to easily get rid of that entire compartment. Now, before we move on to the Lalo, take a look at the bottom of your screen. You're going to see the number of loons per defense in order to, sort of take out everything. Yeah, it's going to cover me here, but you'll see right here at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the number of balloons. Make sure that you are doing, or at least taking a look at it, so that then you can still get some sort of value from the base design. But other than that, it's a very, very simple one. And what you'll see here is that as we're sending in our Lava Hounds, we want to use our haste spells, and we want the Grand Warden to go with them. Primarily, you want the Grand Warden to go with as many of these groups as possible, so at least 2 groups over them. That's really going to help. Now, what about the haste? You're going to see the haste being used to get up to key defenses. Mainly Wizard Towers, Multi-Infernos, Expos, Archer, or Air Defenses, stuff like that. Now, what about the Rage? Typically, you want to save the Rage spell for the Skellies, but in this case, he decides not to, and instead pops the Grand Warden's ability. This way, he's going to be able to use the free spell as the Hound moves over. That way, she doesn't move, and then also is able to keep a lot of those alive with the heal and the Grand Warden's ability. The Grand Warden's ability should be used only when over the Multi-Inferno compartment. So when you're going into the Multi-Inferno and you want to save a lot of your balloons, make sure that you are using your Grand Warden's ability over them. It'll be able to give you access to a lot more than just, using heal there or something like that. But obviously, of course, very strong and consistent attack. And hopefully this shows you guys exactly how you guys can use this. But let's go and move on to the next one. So we've got this base design right here, and we're trying to make sure that we're getting value from our Sui hero. So we've got a couple wall breakers here, and you're going to see the reason why. We want to be able to deal with the Multi-Inferno very, very easily. We're going to use a free spell over the Multi-Inferno in order to make sure that the wall breakers open up the base. We used 1 test wall breaker in order to make sure that that happens. Now you may notice, why are we using an ice golem? There shouldn't be a reason. Well, let's look at the fact that we are going into an area where there's a cannon that you can see towards here. There is a Multi-Inferno. There's another cannon that's right there. A couple Wizard Towers. And there's a Ground Expo. So that means that we want to get value from the freeze from that Ice Golem. This allows us to get a lot of good value. And we're getting some good pathing value as well. But primarily, getting rid of the Multi-Inferno and the Wizard Towers is going to be a huge help. But what we'll see here is that as we're dropping in everything in, you can notice that there is a hole right there in the base. So definitely that's something that I kind of just saw right now. But you'll see that with that Death Freeze, it's able to clip that Multi-Inferno and allow our Queen to take that out with little to no effort, allowing us to still get a lot of good value. Now you may be wondering, why are we not going to deal with the enemy CC? Well, it's because it is most likely a Hound CC, so it's not going to be there targeting any of our balloons or hounds or even our Stone Slammers. So that is definitely some good things for us. But if you're looking to deal with it, make sure that what you're doing is bringing in a poison, because that's going to help a lot. Now you'll notice here is that we're sending everything in. We're trying to make sure that we are keeping our hastes to get them right through the base. You'll also notice right here is that we have a Rage, Freeze, and the Skelly spells in order to take out the Queen as we go in with our Lavaloon. And that's really what's going to be extremely important. So the biggest thing here is when you're looking at spell usage, we're taking a look at the haste, moving our loons into the base in order to get those key buildings down. I forgot to mention the Eagle's another one as well. So by taking this out, you'll see that we're going to be using those haste spells to get them right into those next couple defenses that we need to take out, including those Archer Towers. Now the Tornado Trap is definitely going to be a menace to this attack. So that means that we want to make sure that what we're doing is, if you're going to be seeing that trap and you're going to be hitting it, then what you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to either use your Grand Warden's ability or you want to use a heal spell. That's really why you need to make sure that you are paying attention with your Lavaloon portion, because you never know what's going to happen. But as you can see from here, very simple attack nonetheless. We raged up, skellied the Queen down. That allowed us to get a lot of good value. And we used the Grand Warden's ability a little bit later on in order to still get some sort of value. So a neat example of showing you guys how you guys can use the Sui Lalo with some wall breakers as well. Now don't worry, we got a couple more examples in order to teach you guys the power of the Sui Lalo. And hopefully you guys do enjoy these type of videos, seeing me here on camera. But let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more examples featuring the Sui Lalo attack. Now we've got this example right here, and one of the biggest things that we want to make sure that we are taking a look at here from this base is we want to make sure that we're still getting value. So you'll notice that we have some wall breakers. Now why are we still bringing in wall breakers? Well, we want to make sure that we are actually getting down the air defense along with it. Notice that we're just very sparely placing in our wall breakers in order to get into the base. Then we have the queen, just the queen, going into the base to still get some value from here. Now what this also could mean as well is we could even have the king move in as well to get some value. But we want the queen to kind of move in this direction. She cannot reach the eagle, however, as you know, you may think, oh yeah, she can reach it. No, she can't. So you'll see that it does lure out just a couple archers from the CC, but not too bad either way, because you're still going to be able to get a lot of good value. Still getting rid of this area in terms of defenses does really still mean a lot, because it's going to be able to still get you a lot of good value. So as you're sending everything in, you'll notice that the Stone Slammer is going to go in right over to the Eagle. Since the Eagle was extremely exposed here, this allowed us to just send in a Stone Slammer right there because all these other defenses were taken out. That's really what's going to be extremely important. So as you're sending everything in, we want to make sure that we're using our freeze spells and getting freeze value. So freeze spells in this case would be definitely comparable to stuff like P.E.K.K.A. Bobat, where you want to make sure that when you're using your haste, or I'm sorry, not your haste, but your freeze, you want to make sure that you're placing it over more than just one defense. That way you're going to be able to give access to your loons and stuff, more value from your freeze value that you get. So kind of just, let me simplify it a little bit. When you're placing a couple more, or when you're placing freeze spells over a couple more defenses, that way what happens is you're stunning more defenses than you are just with one. So that gives you more value for one freeze. That kind of gives you guys a little bit of a more simplistic way of looking at it instead of me trying to overcomplicate it. But other than that, remember raging up the skellies to deal with the queen and also freezing the queen. You saw this throughout this whole video. Dealing with the queen by using a freeze spell is going to help a lot. And then other than that, Grand Warden's ability and heal are going to be your must in order to protect your loons as much as possible. Haste spells in order to get those loons right up to those next couple defenses, and that's going to give you access to a lot of the base in terms of just getting through it. So make sure that what you're doing in this case is dealing with the base design, and make sure that what you're doing is using your haste spells to get them right up to those defenses. So make sure that you are doing that. But other than that, another very simple attack. We've got one more example here for you guys to hopefully understand this attack strategy. So in this last example here, you'll notice no Skelly spell. I wanted to show you guys this one, and you'll see that in this one, we're dealing with the enemy CC. So one really important thing is when you're dealing with the enemy CC here, you want to make sure that you're looking at a base that has a lureable CC. So what this means is you'll notice here is that we could just drop in a couple hogs, easily lure out the CC from there. Even though there were some defenses around this area here, that just gives us access to a couple more defenses to target. So obviously the Tesla farm popping up, but dealing with the dragon CC, not a problem, because the main thing here is luring out that damage CC. So this is a great example of dealing with the damage CC. If you're asking constantly, definitely this is going to be a great part, because this shows you guys how to deal with the damage CC well in a very easy way. It's very simple. All you have to do is make sure that you are still getting some sort of value from the base and you're able to get rid of that CC. Now from this example here, you notice that the reason that we're not bringing in a Skelly spell is because we want to make sure that our queen is entering into the base and using her ability to kill the enemy queen. So what we're going to be able to do here is still get some sort of value. Now, it may not be perfect, of course. You can still that she still gets a lot of good value from there. But how are we going to deal with the enemy CC? Well, we have one or two options. Electro Dragon or Lava Pups. That's really where this can come into play in either two ways. So that's really what you want to make sure that you're doing. Another thing that you'll see, and I forgot to mention this as well, is a dragon. You can also bring a dragon in the CC from that Stone Slammer to deal with the enemy queen. This way you're still getting value, and you're able to get a lot more value since you're either going to be bringing in an Electro Dragon or a Dragon to deal with the enemy queen if you're not bringing in Skelly spells. Other than that, very simple. As you can see, moving through the attack, haste spells dropped on those defenses, especially right here. Almost a perfect haste spell. Getting rid of multiple defenses from those loons going in and targeting each one of those. That is just definitely a very perfect haste right there. Dealing with the base, other than that, very simple. Freeze spells over as many of those defenses as possible to get freeze value. And that's really where you're going to be able to get a lot of good value. But other than that, very, very simple attack. Of course, I tried to make it easy for you guys to hopefully understand. Sui, you're just trying to make sure that you're getting as much value as possible. Mainly dealing with enemy CC if there's a damage. Other than that, it's going to be a very, very easy way of getting through the base designs, as most of them are not really going to take much effort. Just remember that you want to Lalo from behind air sweepers and not towards them. If you are, use hastes. Make sure that you're using those hastes to get them right through the base, even if they're getting pushed back. Well, other than that, very simple attack strategy. So let me know if you guys want to see more Sui Lalo, and I'll try to bring it to you guys. But with that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Also, feel free to go ahead and subscribe or follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and also follow me on Instagram. Those 3 links are in the description. And also feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans I'm covering in the description below. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, feel free to join my community Discord in the description below as well. That's where the link is. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.